Are you ready to learn to get rid of stress in your life? To learn how to deal with the emotional turmoil that causes strokes, heart attacks, bad health, and even weight gain? Life-changing habits for work, family, and everyone you deal with start here with Andrew Wittman. It's time to get warrior tough. Here's Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman.
All right. It is time to get warrior tough, the most monumental hour in media anywhere. We're your leadership and mental toughness coaches, Andrew Wittman and the Dutch Coleman.
Hello. What's happening, everybody?
Sun's out. The guns are out. Dutch got his tank top on, man. And you had your sunglasses on. What happened? You said it's like 80 degrees up in Pennsylvania today.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm feeling good, man. You know, coming into the weekend, it's going to be really cold, getting ready for this Ohio State football game this weekend, and it's going to be freezing. It's a night game, white out, all those things. But we're enjoying the week. It's been a couple of 80-degree days, which up in Pennsylvania is unheard of during this time of the year. So we're feeling good.
I know. I was up there this time last year, and I was frozen in your basement. I was like a popsicle down there.
You get a shout out every time. We have guests coming up this weekend for the game, and I always give a shout out. I tell the story about how you had to sleep in a cold basement. I said, so you thank Andrew, because if not for Andrew, one of you could have been the first to stay in his basement and me not realize that there's actually a heating system down here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I come back, get my trek. It was like a 6-mile one-way walk uphill in the snow to get my coffee, and I come back and it's frozen in and you're sitting there in your socks and you're like, the heat's on, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, my feet were cold. My tootsies were cold.
Yeah, Andrew was the first person to stay in the basement that made me go in the basement and explore the basement. Hey, yeah. There is a heating system down here.
That was, yeah. It's a lovely basement. And I think it's got like some crazy surround sound speakers in there, though. I think they're like $40,000 a whack or something. The speakers you have in your basement are just crazy, man.
Dave Matthews Band used to practice here, so they had to have the high-quality stuff.
The Dave Matthews Band used to practice in your basement. That is just crazy. Hey, if you want to join the conversation on Twitter, use the hashtag Dutch's Basement is Cold. No, that's not the hashtag. It's Get Warrior Tough. Get Warrior Tough. Dutch is at the Dutch Coleman. I'm at Warrior Tough PhD. Of course, go to the website, getwarriortough.com. Call the office, 864-977-1443. We'd love to talk with you. Okay, Dutch, so last week, we did, the science behind dropping the F-bomb, which we got a lot of great response from. And in case you're just tuning in, you're like, what did Andrew just say? Okay, the F-bomb is fair, right? Fairness. So, and we kind of looked at a bunch of studies last week, and my favorite study was with the monkeys with the grape and the cucumber. And if you didn't go back and listen to this show with the grape and the cucumber. But when monkeys were by themselves, right, if they got a grape or a cucumber, they were totally happy. But when there was two monkeys sitting across from each other, and one got the grape and one got the cucumber, the one that got the cucumber went berserk. Because it didn't like getting the short end of the stick. It was totally not fair. And so then we looked at a bunch of stuff in the studies where the human machine acts the same way. That if we do not like getting the short end of the stick, we call it disadvantageous inequity aversion. So we don't like it when it's not fair. And what they found out is that the human being would rather go scorched earth, nobody gets nothing, if I'm going to get the short end of the stick. Not
right.
Yeah, right. So if I was going to get 2 pieces of candy and Dutch was going to get 3, I'm going to pull this green lever in the study and nobody gets any candy because he's not getting more than me.
And you got to understand the beauty of that. If you just think about that for a second, that is really classic. I mean, it's classic human behavior. If I'm not getting more, then nobody's getting anything. I mean, that's just beautiful in a very funny way.
It's funny. I mean, it's more not ha-ha funny, though, right? It's hysterical, right? But then we found out as kids get older, in Western cultures only, this is not found anywhere except in Western cultures, is that we have this advantageous inequity aversion. We don't like getting more than somebody else when other people are around because we don't want to be seen as unfair.
Now, you're going to have to repeat that because people got to get this. This is the thing that got me more than anything. Now, you understand it once you hear it, but you got to get this. Repeat that for me, please.
Okay, so in Western cultures, and we've all been brought up this way, is that when other people are around, we don't want to take the grape. We would pick the cucumber first because we don't want to be seen as unfair.
Wow.
And that's the F-bomb, because people don't want to be seen as unfair. And I mentioned this last week, Dutch, that even when I was a cop on the street, when I roll up on a scene and there was a fight or something, a bar fight, something like that, we'd separate everybody and we'd tell let them tell the stories, right? So, and I would let them tell me their story. I would never interrupt, let them get all the way through, never interrupt. And then when I would speak, they would interrupt me, and I would say this to the hardened criminal, the guy that just smashed that other dude's face in the windows and everything. I'd be like, hey, man, I didn't interrupt you. That's not really fair if you interrupt me, is it? And I hit him with the F-bomb. And then they're like, oh, hey, yeah, sorry, man, you're right. I mean, even a hardened criminal does not want to be seen as unfair in our culture, man.
Right. I love it. I love it. Like I said, the real life part of it is beautiful because, we go day to day, day by day in our lives, living a certain way. And there's a lot of things we don't even think about. But when Andrew first shared that story with me, I'm like, man, you're absolutely right. That's absolutely how things are. That's how we as people are. We never want to be seen as unfair, because that's like a dirty word. It's like a bad word.
Yeah.
When someone says, hey, you're not fair.
The F-bomb.
Absolutely. I love it, man. I love it.
Right. So then when we found out, there was another study that the final one we talked about was from these guys, Klaus Schmidt and Ernst Fair out of Zurich, University of Zurich, University of Munich. They found that even people that are fair-minded will, at times, take the big cookie and be selfish. And even the most selfish pigs on the planet, at times, will actually take the small cookie and be fair-minded. And that's the context, is when we're by ourselves and nobody's looking and we don't perceive any consequences, we'll always take the big cookie for ourselves.
That's me. Hey, I'm guilty of that. Yeah. I'm taking it.
But if people are looking, then we'll be the polite person because we don't want to be seen as unfair, and we'll take the little cookie.
Or do you want the last? Did you want the last piece of chicken? Did you want that? You offer it up first, even if it's and with myself, it's in hopes that they say no, you can have it, but I'm going to offer it first. Like, hey, are you sure?
Even though it's killing you on the inside, when they're like, yeah, I'll take it, thanks, Dutch, and you're like, daggone it, I wanted that piece of chicken. So now this kind of rehash, right? Oh, and then we found out that this guy named Lowenstein broke people down into three groups: saints, loyalists, and ruthless competitors. And we all love to see ourselves as a saint, that we're all for fairness sake. Most of us act as loyalists most of the time, because a loyalist is somebody that I will do something that's unfair to myself, right? I'll take the short end of the stick for me in order to build loyalty with a relationship. This is what I do with my kids and my wife, right? So I'll take the back seat. My kids eat first. They get better Christmas presents than me because I want to, I love them, and I want to build that relationship of, and that's just how the machine works, right? That's where most of us are. And then there's the ruthless competitor, where it's elbows and rollerball. Or roller derby. Or is it rollerball? Or both of them, anyway.
Or both.
Yeah,
There's both, yeah.
It's just going to get, you're a fighter and you're going to win at all cost. You always prefer getting more. Now, in fact, the human machine always prefers getting more. But what we do is we calculate what the consequences are when other people are around. If nobody's around, we're always going to take more, ruthless competitor. But when other people are around, we like to present ourselves as saints, and our fallback position is I will present myself as a loyalist, and we say stuff like this, family first.
And it's still, as you said, it's still steeped in benefits for ourselves, because if I'm seen as someone that's fair, I'm going to benefit from that in another way, right?
Totally.
So I'm calculating the benefits and I'm balancing, okay, which one is going to get me more of what I want. So again, when you sacrifice for your kids, that's going to be undying love forever. When you're old and you're gray, they're going to be taking care of you because they remember you took care of them. So you're benefiting from it. It's all calculated.
I remember one time Drew and I were messing around or something. I told him, man, that's it. You're out at 18. I got plans for your room, and that's it. It's over. And he said, yeah, well, when you're old, I'm putting you in a home when no one's looking. As soon as I get the first chance, and no one will even know, I'll put you in a home. See, we're just joking. And you're like, oh, okay, you can stay in your room as long as you want, buddy. But that's absolute fact behind it is what you just said, Dutch, is that even when we're acting as the fair-minded, the saint or the loyalist, it's always for a selfish reason anyway. It's still for selfish, unfair reasons.
Absolutely. It's calculated. It is. It is.
and people are like, no, not me. Yes, you. Okay, you're a human, right? And in fact, they've already ran this all the way down. It's even in the Capuchin monkeys, man.
Right, and it's not for evil. That's the thing. It's not for evil. It's still benefiting everyone. But best believe you're getting a benefit out of it. It's not you completely sacrificing 100%. You're giving to get later. So you're still giving. You're not a bad person.
Right.
You're not an evil person.
No.
You're giving to get later as opposed to trying to get now.
And I'll even say this, even being a ruthless competitor, always preferring to get more, I'm not even saying that's bad.
Right.
Now, in our society, we act like it's bad, but, it's not bad to always want more. Why wouldn't you? Well, that's greedy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be seen as greedy. And yet, you'll always take the big cookie when no one's around.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, I tell people all the time, look, you... And this is a faith statement, but my cup, I want my cup to runneth over, right? I want my cup to be filled first, right? So when it runs over, I get to dictate where it runs into other cups, how it is. So it's not like I'm hoarding all of it. But I myself, being the person that I am, being the giving person that I am, I want as much as I can get, if not even more, because I trust that I'm going to also distribute it to others. I'm going to share it to others, right? I can't guarantee that someone else who's going to get it all is going to do that. But me being who I am, I can guarantee that if my cup is full and filling and running over, it's going to run into the cups of others. So I want it all. I want control of it. I want as much as I can get, as much as I can handle.
Right. And we say it like this, I'll say it another, you can't help anybody else unless you got the financial resource. You can't bless somebody else unless you're blessed. I'll say it that way.
Absolutely.
All right. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's how the human machine is built. Okay. So are we up on a break? Have you been?
We got a couple minutes.
Okay. All right. So good.
Coming up on a break.
All right. So here's the deal. You and I were talking about this, and this is all over everywhere that I look. I cannot get away from it. But apparently, one of the political candidates is screaming that the system is rigged, and then there's WikiLeaks dumps and FBI documents that show that the system is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like everybody's talking about it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. And you and I said, welcome to planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Why is anybody... Go ahead, Dutch.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're glad you finally figured out that it's rigged.
Yeah.
We've been knowing for years. And when you think about it, you've been knowing for years.
You knew it all along. In fact, your moms knew it because when you were little and your brother got a bigger piece of pie and you said, it ain't fair. And your mom said, life's
not fair.
Not fair.
No matter how many different systems you identify,
right,
that something's not fair, we're here to tell you that nothing is fair. None of the systems are fair. They're all rigged. And after the break, we're going to explain exactly what we mean. But even during this commercial, you have a moment to think about it. Nothing is fair. So to say the election is rigged and all that, what took you so long?
Right. That's a news flash. It cracks me up with people arguing. I can't believe that they would say that it can't be. Come on, man. I got to go. Come on, man. Where's my man Chris Carter at? You listen to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Dutch and Andrew. We'll be right back.